What's good with y'all niggas? Welcome back to another video, another reaction video. First of all, this title hella crazy. I don't know what's going on. The girl who called her boyfriend. Not gonna lie, I watched like 20 seconds in this month. I'm like, bro, I might as well just start recording. But the girl who called her boyfriend killing her on video, nigga, that title is crazy as hell. Make sure y'all niggas like, comment, subscribe, follow my second, whichever page is going on, follow the other page in the description. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it.
You think I'm playing, huh?
Okay.
You think I'm playing, huh? Hit you with this big 4-5 hollow tips, gonna eat your up.
East Point PD gets all these calls about a white van that's driving erratically over the road.
And there is a reason, once you see this cell phone video, why the judge said he's going to be staying here with no bond.
This is India Mackey. She was 20 years old and a kind person who loved all those around her. So when she saw her terrifying boyfriend clean his fingerprints, she decided to start filming. India realized something awful was about to happen. Her intuition was sadly right. But what happened that night? Why did India start filming, and what happened to her boyfriend now? We'll explore these questions and many more in today's video. This is the tragic story of India Mackey. On November 18th, 2019, at around 5:30 p.m., law enforcement in Warren, Michigan was notified of a swerving car.
East Point PD gets all these calls about a white van that's driving erratically over the road.
A man was driving his car way over the speed limit through residential areas, going from side to side.
They got a
Officers
van that's
knew they had to
crazy.
intervene fast, lest he make a terrible accident. Perhaps it was another case of DUI, they thought. But when they pulled him over near 9 Mile Road, the officers were left in disbelief. Next to this teenage boy was a lifeless body. 18-year-old Kevin Dixon had no.
So he was 18, she was 20. So I'm saying these niggas be emotional. He probably was emotional. She probably did something to the nigga. Oh, this nigga, he cooked. He only 18, he cooked.
He was quick to identify the body as his girlfriend, 20-year-old India Elise Mackey. Dixon told the officers that India had a terrible accident at his place that night. According to him, she wanted to play with his firearm when it went off, unaliving her in front of his eyes. He was very confident in telling this story. But then the officer's million-dollar question was, why was India in his van? Dixon proceeded to tell lie after lie, stories so conflicting that he didn't even know how to go on. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Later that night, detectives would discover an even more tragic layer to this story. Dixon still had India's phone on him, so detectives seized it as soon as he was handcuffed. When they went through it, they discovered a very recent video. It had been shot just hours prior to Dixon's arrest. India had filmed her own death.
In just the last couple of months, law enforcement has seen 6 domestic violence homicides. It's sad, startling, and alarming.
In January 2019, ABC reported that half of the identified...
That's why niggas gotta be careful. Females gotta be careful, because you never know. You playing with somebody's emotions full, you know what I'm saying? Try to kill you. No cap. That's why I don't even be playing with these females no more. These niggas be crazy.
Many homicides in 2018 in the US were instances of intimate partners or family violence. 7 of those 10 cases involved men fatally shooting either their girlfriend, wife, or ex-partner, along with at least 3 other people. Some of those victims were relatives of the female victim, others were bystanders. 2 of the 10 cases involved familial homicide, with parents or children shooting their direct relatives. The numbers are huge, and yet they are not nearly as talked about as other violent instances in the country. Brian Pacheco, the spokesperson for a support agency called Safe Horizon, explained, "For so long, we've seen domestic violence as a personal issue. It happens in the home. Don't talk about it. But mass things show us otherwise. These are not just personal issues. These are community issues that we should all be tackling. The ability to help and support one survivor has the potential to save so many lives." Here's an even grimmer stat. A 2017 United Nations report concluded that, especially for women, some of the deadliest dangers are at home. Over 58% of women who are intentionally murdered around the world lose their lives at the hands of an intimate partner or family member. A staggering whopping 82% of victims are female in intimate partner homicide cases. This puts India's tragedy in perspective. Not only is she not alone in the United States, she's not alone in the world.
If you're recording on it,
But what type of nigga was she messing with though? She messing with a nigga 2 years younger than her. She 20, he 18. Like what? They don't even correlate.
Problem in almost all countries of the world. In the 2020s, a time known for more peace and prosperity than any other time in history. Sadly, teenage girls are the most prone to that type of manipulation and violence that eventually leads to death. Unfortunately, that was what happened to India Mackey. On November 17th, 2019, India Mackey celebrated her 20th birthday in Michigan. The following day, she met with her boyfriend, 18-year-old Kevin Dixon. The two were inside his car when they started fighting. Then, out of the blue, Kevin pulled out a firearm and started loading it. India was so shaken that she began filming him. On the one hand, she didn't believe he was being serious.
You think I'm playing, huh?
Okay.
You think I'm playing, huh? Hit you with this big 4.5 hollow tips, gonna eat your up.
On the other hand, she wanted to have video evidence in case something went wrong. Sadly,
smart.
everything
That's
that
what I be
could
doing.
have
Quick to
gone
record.
wrong did go wrong. At one point in the video,
Quick to
Dixon is
record,
seen
you're right.
cleaning his fingerprints, almost ostentatiously. He knew what he was about to do, and he was rubbing it in India's face. Imagine what India's family felt when the officers notified them of her passing. Moreover, they told
I got a
them that they
sister
had
her same
recorded
age,
the
that's
moment
crazy.
when she drew her last breath at a monster's hands.
The last thing her family has of her is the video where she is pointing the camera at the man who's going to kill her.
It's absolutely shocking to watch how little emotion this teenager shows
he
in
finna
the
do
video
life.
as he
That nigga finna do
prepares to take his girlfriend's life. He even
Rock 'em away,
taunts
throw away
her
the key
and
card.
plays to the camera, even though he knows the recording will work against him in the future. The
Right,
full
nigga.
timeline of events obtained by the prosecutor is simply chilling. India filmed her entire death. Then Dixon calmly grabbed her phone and ended the recording.
After he shoots her, gets out of his car, pushes her over into the passenger seat, and takes off driving in the car.
Dixon took out India in his van in front of his own home on Shirley Street in Warren. But that's not all. Here's how Dixon's demented plan went on.
He takes his girlfriend's phone, this poor woman that was shot, and calls his mother on the phone and says, "Mom, go to the house and get the gun."
Yup, Dixon went as far as calling his mom to help dispose of the weapon. So he was sensible enough to plan ahead and try to dodge justice. But he wasn't human enough to care for someone he claimed was his girlfriend.
So we charge her with accessory after
Niggas
effect
is
and
crazy.
tampering with evidence.
Indeed,
Well, yeah, like that
Dixon
mom
had
too,
the
nigga.
time to meet
Fuck
his
you talking
mom
about?
and dispose of the weapon before he drove away with India's body in the passenger seat. Honestly, it's hard to understand any of this man's actions.
He's still a little boy.
Sadly,
on
India
18,
is
for
far
real.
from the only young woman who saw the best in an awful person.
Well, this is 18-year-old Genesis Rice, a mother, a daughter, and now one of the dozens of South Carolina women killed by an intimate partner every year.
In May 2023, Genesis was spending a sunny day with her 2 young kids and her parents at the park. She
Two
was a
kids are
teenage
18?
mom, so her parents helped her raise her kids.
It was a sweet moment because it was just a day full of laughter and joy and just playing games.
A few days later, Genesis's lifeless body was found in her bed at home. The following day, her 22-year-old boyfriend, Akevius Lindsay, was charged with unaliving her. He was not only her boyfriend, but the father of her 2 children. He was uninvolved in raising his children, violent, and erratic. Now he had
He finna get cooked. But one thing I can say though, bro, these niggas be tender. Like, nigga, I'm talking about angry, upset. If you even talk to their girl, bro, or even look in their direction, bro, these niggas will try to do some crazy shit to you.
he had done the worst,
On the low.
and Genesis's family
He
never
probably
saw
got
it
mad at her,
coming.
went to her
We
phone, all type
met
of stuff.
him. He's come in our house. And we just looked at it like any other relationship.
She was really at a point in her life where she was really just accomplishing a lot.
Genesis had recently gotten a steady job and moved into an apartment that she shared with her girlfriends. But Akevius was increasingly horrible toward her, and Genesis did not want to burden her loved ones with this. She kept the increasing violence a secret from her family.
Genesis really wanted people to be proud She wanted
Well, you
to
know
make
I
us
do to a nigga
proud.
like that,
That's
boy,
why she
literally.
didn't mention a lot of stuff that went on.
When officers arrested Akevius, they discovered a long history of arrests and terrifying incidents between him and Genesis. They discovered
Menace
a
to
long
society.
history of arrests and terrifying incidents between him and Genesis. Just 4 days before taking her life, Genesis had phoned 911 to report him grabbing her by the leg. In the report, an officer noted something sinister. Akevius has one prior conviction of domestic violence in 2022. Apparently, this report was also done after Genesis called law enforcement. The episode was quite horrific. After Genesis accused Akevius of damaging her car, he reacted in ways so violent we can hardly begin to describe them here. This was in October, just 6 months before Genesis lost her life at her boyfriend's here.
What that say? Domestic violence of a pregnant woman? For a great court, man. What? The Lawrence County, blah, 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 blah. It's probably Louisiana. 6 months. Slammed the victim's head and body into the... Damn. He was released Wednesday. How much money on the bet she paid his bond?
This was in
I know she
October,
paid his
just
bond.
6 months before Genesis lost her life at her boyfriend's hands. Why did she not break it off with him? Was she afraid of what he would do if she did? You see,
Yeah.
this is often the tragedy of abusive DV relationships. Violent, manipulative partners are actually highly jealous and insecure. They use constant
Yeah.
threats to keep their partner near to them.
Yeah,
Too
she said.
highly jealous and insecure. They use
Jealous and
constant
insecure.
threats to keep their partner near to them. Too scared to leave, but deeply unhappy if they stay. This is why it's
Facts.
harder for younger people to leave such traps. You have less courage, social skills, and general knowledge of human psychology when you're younger. So you're more likely to end up in a horrible situation, lest you see
Facts.
the red flags early on. Here is the most horrible part of Genesis's story. At the time of the October 2022 incident, she was 6 months pregnant.
In hindsight, this one hits a little different.
After the incident, Genesis decided to drop the charge.
It's because she young, she look good, she probably down with that nigga. He probably like, cause she look good, bro. He probably like, oh, I want her to move on, all this extra.
Charges stating,
I want to drop the charges because he is still young, dumb, and still learning. Hopefully he will get the help he needs. At the end of the day, I know this could have been avoided. If I'm being completely honest, I wouldn't have done anything about the situation if she hadn't called the authorities.
so it wasn't her that phoned the officers.
One thing snapped.
Oh Lord, man, I don't even want to imagine no shit like that. Boy, you know what I do to a nigga. You know what I do to a nigga family.
Her friend who was in the car at the time of the incident. Too
I'm
often,
just joking.
victims protect people like Akevius,
Just
believing
playing.
that they will change or that it couldn't get any worse than this. But sadly, most times it gets worse. It's crucial to leave the shame and fear aside when dealing with these types of people. When you see the first red flags, tell someone about it.
You may not want to expose what's going on.
That's usually what it be.
I think it's important to speak, to at least have someone know, and to find
She heard,
help.
bruh.
In India Mackey's case, it was her father, Joseph Polk, who noticed her boyfriend had a strange attitude.
You know, let your fathers protect you. Let your uncles, your brothers, let the community protect you. Go to somebody. Tell somebody. Somebody will help you. Because they don't want to see this, they don't want to see this ending.
But he'd hardly spoken to him and he knew almost nothing about him. India didn't like to talk about these things at home. Joseph said, I didn't like the young man and I got the wrong vibes from him. I told her, I talked to her, I said, he's not the one for you, baby. I tried to pride myself on being a protector, but you can't protect your kids from who they interact with. I tried. Neither
That's all you
India
can do is
nor
try.
her parents ever thought it would come to this. Now, the only thing India's loved ones can do is let justice run its course. Kevin Dixon is facing life in prison without the possibility of
Oh, yeah,
parole.
keep this
That will
nigga
be
away.
more than enough time for him to think about what he's done. But going back to the chilling video India recorded,
You think I'm playing, huh?
okay.
You think I'm playing, huh? Hit you with
Hey,
the
rest in
big
peace,
4-5
both these
hollow
women, bro.
tips, gonna eat your
Rest in peace, both of them for sure, bro. This shit fucked up. And my sister, low-key got a boyfriend like this though, so I gotta definitely watch that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But he I'm on that nigga trail. I'm talking I'm on his motherfucking ankles like some socks, nigga. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow my other channel in the description. Follow my Instagram. I got more channels and shit I'm gonna add to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Be lit.